Conservation Commission. That's my cue. All right, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, August 6th, August 5th, Conservation Commission meeting. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being audio and video recorded. The agenda lists all the topics which may be discussed at the meeting and those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken from these discussions. Not all items discussed and other items may be raised to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. Please be advised that the town of Lunenburg utilizes Zoom platform as a host for its hybrid and remote meetings, that the Zoom platform utilizes AI technology known as AI Companion to create audio transcriptions of meetings to aid in the subsequent preparation of meeting minutes, and that the AI Companion is activated immediately upon launching the Zoom application. You are hereby notified that this AI technology may capture audio prior to the start of the meeting and or following the conclusion of the meeting. Okay, I'm gonna take a roll call. Jenny Putherer, I know, is absent today. Rich Bursch.
Present.
Mike LaRouche.
Here.
Hetty Doucette.
Here.
Andrea Burnett.
Here.
Is everybody we were expecting today? I have to make a quick note to make certain that I get my cheat sheet for calling roll calls at each of the hearings. Okay, do we have any public comments by members of the commission?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
You have not called yourself in as being here or not, but.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
As the chair. Thank you.
All right.
And that's Mary Wilson. Thank you, Mike. Okay, do we have any comments, public comments by members of the commission? Okay, and now we'll move over to public comment. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes and on a subject matter under the direct jurisdiction of the commission. Comments about current agenda items are to be made during the comment period of the specific agenda item. Please address all comments to the chair. And as with public comments for this and or agenda items, please state your name and your address. Do we have any public comments? And I see Greg Roy, you have your hand raised.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Greg Roy with Dilson Roy. I don't know if you were going to call for it, but I wanted to let you know that I think that we will be requesting a continuation for 91 Round Road, which is later in your meeting, because we haven't, we still don't, the situation is the same since we opened the meeting a few weeks back. We have not received DEP comments yet or file number, so.
Okay, very good.
If you wanted to do that early to keep people, that might be on the meeting, give their night back, then I offer that.
Okay, yeah, I think I will make a note of that and we'll do that first up. Thank you, Greg. Other public comments? I see Chris McKenzie, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Madam Chair. Chris McKenzie from Dilson Roy. I guess Greg didn't check his emails earlier. We did receive the DEP file number for that one on Round Road.
Okay. Chris, I just checked the website. It wasn't there, but that's good to know.
Well, we're talking about lot 18. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just checked the DEP site. It wasn't there, but
yeah, they sent an email to me, and I sent that to you earlier today.
Okay, I haven't checked email all day. I've been out of the office, so thank you for that, Chris. I guess we're on.
Yeah.
All right.
All righty. Okay, and Herlyn.
I just wanted to say that yes, we did receive a DEP file number, and I uploaded it to OpenGov. Sorry, Greg, you're out of the loop.
Awesome. Okay. And then Herlin, with Jenny, and I forgot to ask earlier today, who manages the waiting room, you or her?
I do.
Okay, excellent. That's a great answer. I love that answer. All right, I don't see anybody else with their hands raised, so let's move on to pollinator habitat. Mike?
I don't see any new photographs from the pollinator habitat, but I'd like to share a story where while I was on the shed roof, I just heard this natural noise coming from the grassy area, and suddenly I saw this white-tailed deer just, you know, walking softly through the grass, and I go, "Wow, this is a beautiful place." So I just wanted to extend that to everyone. That the habitat is a very magical place, whether you're working on the roof or just going there taking in all of the flowers and the pollinators who are going to those flowers and plants. So for that, I thank the pollinator habitat for being there so I could experience that.
That's excellent. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Okay, moving along, meeting minutes. We have meeting minutes from 7:15. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So second,
And so that was Andrea and for the initial movement and Mike for the second.
Yes.
Roll call vote. Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Approve the meeting minutes from 7:15. Now we move on to new public hearings. Do we have anything besides the lineouts that were continued? Any last minute continuations, Herlin?
Yes, 701 Road. I received a message from Dillis and Roy asking for a continuation on this one.
Okay. Alrighty. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one first and just line it so we can line it out. And if there's anybody here that's here for that, they won't have to wait until then to see what happens. All hearings are pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended, and the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Notice of intent by the Reservoir Recreational Trust for the conservation of a new concrete boat ramp at Lake Shirley, on Lake Shirley at Shady Point, 701 Reservoir Road. And I understand from our agent that the applicant has requested a continuation. Is that a continuation to the next hearing, which is, where is that?
August
The ninth.
19th.
August the 19th. Do I have a motion to continue
So
by the
move.
commission? Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Teddy. Roll call vote. Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Get the easy one out of the way. Okay, moving along. All hearings pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, and the Town of Lunenburg's Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Notice of intent filed by Jacqueline Rager for a driveway crossing of isolated wetland area at 108 Sunny Hill Road. Do we have the applicant and or their representative here on the call tonight?
Good evening, Chris McKenzie from Dillis and Roy here to represent Jacqueline Rager on this property. She's working tonight and isn't available to attend.
Okay, very good. Do you have the plans or drawings that you'd like to share with us and review tonight?
Yeah. If I can share, I can
That would be excellent.
put it right up on the screen here. It's not letting me do it yet. I think somebody needs to allow me to share.
You have to request sharing privileges, and I can then give them to you.
How do I do that?
Okay, let's see.
I've not done that before. Usually they just allow me to share. Host disabled attendee sharing, screen sharing. Here we go. Now I got it.
You got it? Great. I right-clicked on your name to look for permission. I didn't see it listed.
Yeah. How's that? Can everybody see that?
It's still painting to my screen. There we go.
All right. So this is the existing property. There's an existing house at 108, which is located in the top part of the screen here. This little area right here is the septic system. Their driveway and house are located off the screen here. The proposed house for this property is going to be out behind that property for 108. There's a proposed duplex proposed back here with septic system and leach area over there. Driveway access to the site. This is coming uphill from the road. The driveway access coming off of Sunny Hill Road has to cross through an area located here. It's about, I think, 8 or 9 flags that were laid out as a isolated wetland. I believe this is really, there's a catch basin located here, and I suspect this is really just a backup of water that isn't making it to the catch basin. There's no inlet or outlet otherwise. It's just kind of an isolated spot. But in order to get a driveway in through there, we've got to fill some of that isolated area located here, about 692 square feet. So we're proposing to fill that area and to replicate that 692 square feet located here in the yellow area. And then, of course, bring the driveway up and out of the buffer zone as quickly as we can and up to the house. We show erosion control barrier all around the whole project within the buffer zone and, of course, around the replication areas. That really about covers. There's really not much to it. Other than that, there's obviously a water line that will have to be come up and utility lines for power and stuff like that.
Chris, what's the replication area compared to the proposed limited fill area?
I did a 1-to-1. I didn't increase that at all. It seemed seems to me that this is an area really. We didn't do an intense topography of the area, but we shot the rim of the catch basin. Then we took a shot just beyond, going towards the property here. And the shot that we took off of the catch basin is actually lower than the catch basin rim. So what's happening is water's coming to try to go to the catch basin. It's not making it there, and it's more or less getting backed up into this area. So we basically call for a 1-to-1 replication. We certainly could increase that by coming up the hill a little bit further. It's a little tough to get the driveway squeezed in here. And still have some reasonable room here. Obviously, the higher up the hill we go, the harder it's going to be to make a replication area that's going to actually stick. This is more or less at the same elevation as this area that we're filling. It's a little higher up in the back corner of it over here.
The area in question too, I mean, from the sidewalk, looked like it was an area of mature tree growth as well.
Yeah, it's been untouched for a long time. I suppose probably since they did the last work on the road when they put the catch basin in and stuff like that.
Yeah. So where would trees stay and where would trees be removed to put this driveway
Well,
in?
trees would have to be removed, obviously, anywhere where the driveway is running. And it's also going to have to get, they're also going to have to get removed anywhere where the replication area is going.
Right.
Because in order to do that, they have to remove all that soil down to an elevation that'll work for the groundwater table to create a wetland area there. So any trees in that area have to get removed. The trees within the wetland area that is not being altered, those will be fine. But anything obviously coming up the driveway on either side of it for probably about 20 feet wide will have to be removed. The entire site is pretty much wooded with the exception of you can see a little bit of area back here. This is the existing tree line. So there's a bit of a field on that existing lot down below. But other than that, it's completely wooded.
Okay. And do the plans moving kind of up gradient on this drawing? Do the plans actually have anything that accommodates for that raised elevation for the septic field and that sharp drop off from the septic field? And how do you ensure water doesn't just sheet off and into the next property?
Right. The Title V requires a minimum grading in this location, and we meet that grading. It's a 3-to-1 slope, which is considered stable by them with some loam seed on it.
Okay. And that answers the Title V obligations. How do you ensure that the water from here doesn't just pour into the next property?
Well, again, it meets Title V requirements for the grading for a system. So it's meant that standard is designed to not allow water to flow onto the neighboring property. The septic system area is not impervious. It'll have loam and seed. It'll be brought back to the same kind of condition with a vegetated surface that will absorb rainwater just like any other lawn area.
Okay, it just looks like there's some steep elevations back in there.
They're a 3-to-1 slope. That's standard Title V system design. We design it that way for every system we design.
Well, that on what I'm trying to say is that on top of the natural topology of the land, it looks like it's a little bit steeper up in that area.
It will be, yes, because it's a fill system. The groundwater table is a little high here, so we had to build up the leach area to meet the Title V requirements for groundwater separation, and that results in a system being higher. And so at a 3-to-1 slope, it takes us a little while to get down back to existing grade. You can see a proposed grading easement over here, and there's an easement line that's going to run right along here. That's there for the reserve area fill, which really comes down the hill even further in order to meet the fill requirements for the reserve area, which is not being built at this time. It's there in case it does ever have to later on. But we also had to provide a proposed grading easement that goes beyond that, the limit of the reserve area fill, because this is a Presby system, which has a smaller footprint than a conventional system. When we design a Presby system, we're required to show that a conventional system could be built on the property. Therefore, we need the easement. I have a page 2 if you'd like to see it. It shows the size and scope of a conventional system that would, if installed here, would be much larger and much more intrusive on the entire site. I can just hop right over to that sheet right here. Oh, of course, it's all turned off. Sorry, my mistake. My apologies. It would show here if there was a conventional layout. It was set to be here. It must have been turned off when we did this particular print of the plan, but I assure you it's quite a bit larger than the Presby system and far more intrusive. So we've done everything we can in a sense.
But still, if a conventional system had to be put in there, presumably it could still be accommodated within the parcel.
Yes,
Okay.
we're required to do that. I know I have another copy of that plan that has that on it.
Yeah, I think we would need to see that just, for full kind of accountability on what's
Sure.
could go on here.
Sure.
All right, and then getting back to your driveway, how are you ensuring that driveway runoff doesn't get into the existing wetland system or the replication area?
Well, obviously, erosion control barriers will be put in place during construction. And then all of the side slopes will be stabilized before the erosion control barriers are removed.
Yeah, I think I would be looking for some type of I don't know, French drain or something that would keep runoff from going into those areas.
Well,
That's my
again,
thought, right?
well,
But
this area is basically created from runoff coming down and not making it to the catch basin that's located there. So really, this is the only area for the water to go. We can't really make it go some other place.
how about a swale or something like that?
A swale to where?
I don't know. Encourage it to go to the opposite side of the driveway.
Okay. And that's just going to end up down in the road. So if I put it over onto here and I swale everything over into this area and it comes down, where's it going to go here? So I suppose we could swale this all the way down to here and do a culvert underneath.
Put a swale there and put a water garden or something upland there to minimize the full length of the driveway discharging onto the road or into the wetland.
Up in this little corner right here.
Farther upland.
Well, that's not part of the property. The property line.
Well, see where you say existing 100-foot wetland buffer zone.
Existing 100-foot buffer zone. Yeah.
Yeah, that is on the property.
Okay, so you're talking about up here, not down near the roadway.
Yeah, so you could encourage everything from uphill to drain into that. So then the rest of the driveway is the only thing that might be at risk to drain into the road or into the wetland. That would mitigate. It looks like a large amount of driveway drainage potentially.
Yep, we could work something out with that.
Well, and again, I'm just one voice. Let me see if any of the other commissioners have similar concerns or have other questions.
Sure.
We have questions or comments from members of the commission? Yes, Teddy Doucette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I agree with your sentiment here. I think a rain garden to help minimize the runoff and some native plantings would be great, especially since we're proposing to move and replicate the wetland area. I would like to see additional water catchment there. I like your idea, Mary.
Okay, thank you, Teddy. Rich Birch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris, I had a couple quick questions. Number one, the limit of the work for the driveway prior to the ideas of the rain garden are the erosion protection barriers. That's the limit of work.
That's correct, Richard.
All right, so no trees outside of that barrier currently are scheduled to come out.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Second thing, I'm not a fan of a 1-to-1 replication area. and that may help with some of the stormwater problems, or Mary's idea of putting a small rain garden in on the other side to try to help mitigate. I mean, we're going to increase the velocity of the water coming down this hill, but we're leaving that isolated wetland that is the natural catch basin now at the same size, so it will, I think, get inundated. What is the elevation of the catch basin?
About 485.55.
Okay, so 485.55, but you're saying that that elevation is impounding the water behind it in the isolated wetland area
Right. What doesn't
at
show on our plan,
487?
correct. What doesn't really show on the plan, because it's all done with contours, is the actual shots that we take, the actual ground shots that the surveyors take. And there's a shot that is approximately right about where the cursor is. And that is elevation 485.4. So it's the 10th lower, but it is lower. And we all know water doesn't go uphill. Now, we didn't do an intense survey of this area, so I don't know what else is going on there, but that one shot indicates to me that this spot is lower than the catch basin. So if water gets here, it's going to stay here. It's not going to get to the catch basin. I don't know what that means going up this way, or if there's basically just some kind of berm or something in here that's just enough to prevent water from getting through and holding it back. It's hard to really
Okay.
tell without an intense investigation into that.
All right. And I assume the replication area is going to be 487.
487 for an elevation.
Yeah.
It's gonna, this 488 contour that I show right here, proposed contour, comes and wraps around the outside of that. I don't designate a specific elevation in here. I don't know that we could cut this all the way down to 487 without intruding into this wetland to make it connect. We need to keep the elevation equivalent at the connection where these meet.
Mm-hmm.
If we go lower, we're going to more or less create a berm in between there. So I can't, if I bring this down to 487 over here, there's going to be a berm here, and then it's going to drop back down again. So that'll cause a problem. So this
But
area
it's going to be
needs
below
stay above.
488 then. It just, you
Correct.
didn't have any final grade in there, so I was just investigating what we're going to be at the end of construction.
Sure.
And do you have a construction schedule showing that the driveway will be put in, all of the grading will be stabilized inside the 100-foot buffer, and the replication area will be constructed at the same time?
We have some notes in here. I don't recall specifically what the orders are on it, but we do have some in here.
Can you make that
Certainly.
larger, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it does talk, this is mostly for the replication area and how that is being constructed.
Okay, yeah, I read through it, but I didn't see a schedule as far as I would like to see all of the stabilization and the replication area all done during the construction phase of the driveway. So in the beginning, so that we get all of that stabilized. So if something happens and this project sits over a season or two, we don't all of a sudden have open ground running and erosion problems into the isolated wetland that is existing, plus the replication area that we're trying to establish.
Right. Well, it's typically the practice is that you need to do the replication and the filling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's standard practice. So are you saying you want to make sure that the driveway is constructed at that same time?
Unless you want to do it before the driveway.
Well, Right. Well, that's I'm just trying to understand what you're asking. I don't know if I quite
Yeah,
understand.
I would like to, I mean, it shouldn't, we're not talking months of construction there. I personally would like to see the driveway put in at the same time as replication area so that we're grading in the same area and then everything is stabilized and the replication area is established
So
all at one fell swoop.
all buffer zone work done at the same time, more or less.
Yep. At the beginning, prior to construction of the house and all of the upland grading.
Right, right. Well, there's really no access to the work area up there without
Mhm.
building the driveway first.
Okay.
I don't think they want to go through the existing house lot to do that because that would just be some additional construction that would be needed to get back there. So the driveway will have to be built before they can build the house.
Okay.
So I think what I heard, Rich, is that Chris agrees putting in a construction schedule to detail out the replication area first and stabilization done by the time the driveway is done is acceptable. Is that what I think I heard, Chris?
Yes, all during the construction phase of the driveway.
Yeah. And that
Yep.
would be prior to, obviously, any construction for the building starting.
Mhm.
Other questions or comments from members of the commission? And one thing I did want to point out with any replication area is that we expect that to be monitored over the course of 2 years with and monitored by a certified wetland replication scientist. I think it's a wetland scientist. We have some canned language that I'm certain Hurling can find for us if need be. Just to put that out there as an expectation in case anybody has any concerns or wanted to ask questions about that.
Okay.
Are there any questions or comments from members of the public? And if so, raise your hand and state your name and address, and I'll call upon you. And I will say that it was shared with the commission. Some abutters in the area shared concerns and expressed current concerns about existing road conditions and stormwater. I guess there's a lot of water that runs onto the road that doesn't that accumulates there and causes some hazardous conditions. And we have a number of abutters that are concerned about how much this project, if permitted, would contribute to that current condition. And there were photos that were shared. I don't know, Hurlin, if you have access to those and could share them, but that might be helpful.
Sure, let me try.
Thank you. Colleen, I see your hand raised. If you could state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Colleen Kostich. I am at 119 Sunny Hill Road in, obviously, Lunenburg. I believe the driveway is being proposed right across the street from my house. The biggest concern I have is flooding. We have huge flooding problems in this area. This past Monday, I had rivers going down both sides of my house, pouring into my basement. I had a lake in front of my house. I am probably the lowest point of Sunny Hill Road, and I was out moving sandbags around my property in the pouring rain because it's so bad. So I don't really have a problem with anything that anybody wants to do with their property. I just have a problem if it's going to negatively affect the huge problem that we already have on Sunny Hill Road.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
Colleen, were you the abutter that shared photos, or was that one of your neighbors? Oh, Colleen, you went on mute.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I am not the one that submitted those pictures, but I did share some of those pictures with my neighbor. So some of the pictures that they had forwarded to the Conservation Commission were my pictures.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me just download those photos and then I think I can share them. Harlan, I think you said that you weren't able to share them.
I am not. It says because I am a host, it won't let me share. And I think it's the settings on this communal Zoom account.
Yeah, let's see if I download them. It's weird because I'm a co-host. Presumably I should have the same issues as you, but at least for right now, it's saying that I can share them. Oh, it only downloaded one image. Let me go to the next image.
Madam Chair,
Yes, yes, Rich.
to the abutter, through you to the abutters that have problems with flooding, have anybody contacted the DPW? Because they do have to issue the permit for the driveway. We don't necessarily give the permit for the driveway. We're concerned about the runoff and how it affects the wetland. But as far as how it's going to affect the roadway, that is definitely more in the wheelhouse of the DPW, and they do have to permit the driveway. So I just wanted to get that in there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, I'm not having luck finding the email right now either. So, and Colleen, you raised your hand again?
Yes. I just wanted to let you know, I have not personally gone to the DPW, but I know my neighbor has, and we've been complaining about the drainage on the road for years. It was never this bad until they repaved and they put I don't know if you want to call it berms or curbing or something, and that's keeping all of the rainwater in the road until it reaches our property. And so I do know that the DPW is aware.
Okay, so I did find the photos. This is one of the photos. You can see a lot of, I believe, Colleen, do you recognize this photo? Colleen, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yes, that is taken from my driveway at 119 Sunny Hill Road. And that,
so if we looked past this pole and is that where the current applicant lives?
yes.
Okay. Okay, and so then that catchment basin that exists is right here then.
Yes.
And when was this taken? Was this from this
This
week's
was
storm?
this was this week's storm. Yes, that was on Monday.
Okay.
And that is to the left of my driveway at 119, in between my driveway and I believe the Todd and Tabitha Jennison, I believe their house is 129. And so there is a basin right there on the other side of the basketball hoop. And there's just water overflowing that and a river going down into the back where a stream normally is behind our houses there. So that entire, from my house over to Todd and Tabitha's driveway, is a river.
Okay. And then this is what, looking straight out off your property
that
over
I just happened to open the door to take a picture of the lake in the front of my yard, and a car was coming through at the same time, and I just happened to catch that picture right there. And that was after it stopped raining. It just
Okay.
holds water.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us some context on those photos. Rich, one of the things I was wondering with that is I've seen, and we don't ask very often, but sometimes for driveways that are coming down steep slopes, for a kind of drainage area at the end of the driveway, so it's not just sheeting onto the road. Would that be something to consider here, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure where they would put it. Because they're the picture that you had with the brick pavers directly across the street and just off to the apron, I can see the other catch basin that I believe is the one on the plan that at the end of the wetland area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and unfortunately not knowing any more information about the rain flow and the water and how often it backs up and where the water goes to, I don't see how we can dictate any more than what we have.
Okay. Any other commissioners have thoughts about that?
Yeah, and I mean, we can ask Chris, have you submitted this, Chris, to the DPW for her driveway approval?
No, this has not gotten to that point yet. Typically,
Okay.
that's one of the last things to happen along with a building permit. You kind of got to get all the other things. You got to get all the ducks in a row before you can apply for the permit.
Okay. Yeah, so I would just recommend to the neighbors that are concerned about the flooding to just make sure that you voice your concern about the permit to the DPW and make sure that any runoff that could hit the street is mitigated.
And Harlan, do you have any comments or concerns or recommendations that you'd like to make to the commission?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a lot of my concerns were addressed by either yourself or Commissioner Bush, but just in regards to the whole project, in my meeting material notes, I just put in that the commission may want the engineer to explain how runoff from the leaching area and reserve area has been accounted for and confirm that the replication area will not receive concentrated discharge or experience altered hydrology from the septic system. There is a 30-foot difference between where the where the isolated wetland is and where the septic system is going. So I was just looking for mitigation.
Okay. And do you, in your opinion, if we ask for the rain garden on the northern side of that, and kind of a little bit upland side of that driveway, that might provide some mitigation?
I believe so. I also think what Commissioner Bush said was a good idea, reaching out to DPW. I wonder if there's something wrong with that drainage. If it's not working properly, that can also help mitigate the whole situation. But I think that a 2-to-1 replication would be more than suffice, and also some sort of rain garden.
And Rich, I did capture that you had asked for greater than 1-to-1 replication, but I didn't hear. Did you ask for 2-to-1 replication area, or?
If they're willing to design a rain garden on the opposite side of the driveway to help mitigate the runoff, I would consider that square footage, although it's not part of the replication area, but I would consider that as in addition to the replication area because it is protecting the wetland and helping it not to be inundated by the runoff.
Okay.
I mean,
And Chris,
I do
go ahead.
understand it is just an isolated pocket wetland. So, if it was part of a larger wetland system, I'm always in favor of 2-to-1 replication to ensure that we get a proper replication area over time. But in this case, I do understand that it's just an isolated pocket. So if we do have the 1-to-1 and then the rain garden on the opposite side of the drive to help mitigate the runoff, personally, I think that's sufficient.
Okay, very good. And
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Harlan, remind me the replication monitoring requirements that we prescribe. It's 2 years with oversight from certified. I think it's a certified or accredited wetland scientist. Is that, or wetland biologist?
Correct. It's a two growing season. It's not 2 years.
Two growing seasons.
Right. 2 growing seasons. And typically a report is set up. And it's easily uploaded to OpenGov. And it has to be by a wetland scientist.
Okay.
I believe this
yeah.
specific engineering firm has an in-house wetland scientist, and that should be suffice.
Okay, very good. Just a minute, I lost my agenda go. Do we have a DEP number for this one yet?
No.
It's a local filing only. It's not a state wetland. No filing has been made with DEP.
Oh, because
Correct,
it's an
yes.
isolated wetland. Okay,
Yes.
it's our jurisdictional area only. Okay. Well, then very good. What I heard was I need to add a construction schedule to the drawing, and then a request for that that water garden in that area that we had discussed, Chris, that currently has the note on the 100-foot. I think it was a 100-foot buffer, but it has that note, right? So you're clear on that? And for the commissioners, is there anything else that we're requesting of the engineering representative that I haven't called out? And I'm not seeing any hands, so it seems like I adequately remembered it tonight, or at least on this hearing. And so if we continued you to August 19th, would that be enough time, Chris, or would you be looking for September?
No, August 19th. That's a couple weeks away. Can we go to September? That'll just give plenty of time. I actually have some time off coming up in between there somewhere too. So I think we'd be best off going to September. I'd certainly I want to have our engineering department look at the drainage situation out here. In reference to the replication area, there's really not a whole lot of area available that we can use to increase the replication area. I'm kind of with Rich on this. If we do some rain gardens on maybe even on either side of the driveway, maybe that would be enough to suffice instead of doing 1.5 or 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay, yeah, look at it and see what you can come back with. I think that first hearing in September is September 2nd. Erlen, check my calendar math on that.
Correct.
So I think I'm looking for a continuation to September 2nd.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second, Richard.
Thank you. Okay, roll call vote. Rich Bursch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, Chris. See
Thank
you
you very-
in about a month.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A notice of intent by Stephen Violet for the construction of an irrigation pond at 157 Goodrich Street. Do we have Stephen and or his representative here on the call tonight?
Madam Chair, Greg Roy with Dillson Roy. I'm representing the applicant this evening.
Very good. Greg, do you have you want to share the project plans with us and
Yeah,
give us an overview?
That would be great. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can make that happen. I have sent the request to share. There
You
we
should
go.
Oh,
Yep, got it. Screen are you seeing? Are you seeing the plan?
Yes.
Okay. My computer just did strange things on me, so bear with me here. Okay. Well, thank you. Again, this is Greg Roy with Dillson Roy. I'm representing the applicant this evening. I do not believe Mr. Violet is here, but I think that John Mara is a representative of the applicant. So just for reference, he is on the call as well. And wanted to be brief this evening, but give it enough due diligence here to solicit the commission's comments and of course any comments from the abutters. We do not have a DEP, just to tell you where we're headed here. We do not have a DEP number on this project. I did check my email while I was waiting for the last hearing, and we did not get a DEP number on this one that I know of. So we will not be able to close this evening, but I did want to get, did want to come and introduce things with the hopes that we can get any comments in front of us so we can be ready to put the commission in a position in the next couple weeks. So the commission may recall this, or at least some of you may recall this project. It's essentially running the corner of Goodrich Street, which you can see here on the lower side of the plan here, in Lancaster Ave. There's an old farmhouse that's been recently renovated and sold right on the corner, and we came before the commission. There's actually a current order of conditions that was granted by your commission about a year ago, plus or minus a few months, for the construction of this access driveway that comes up right in this location here. That driveway has actually now been constructed. We have not quite gotten to the point to request a certificate of compliance from your commission. But that, just for reference, that work has been completed and installed. It was done earlier this summer by the applicant. We've been working with Steve. Steve, of course, is a farmer. The property is used as directly adjacent to one of his fields, which is on the uphill side of this property. In fact, the driveway that was permitted was done so to provide access to those farming activities. And Steve is interested in constructing an irrigation pond to support the agricultural use of those fields, which has been done on a couple of properties, that he owns in the past, historically. And so this is a little bit of a different case that the commission may not see very often. So I actually wanted to take a quick minute and read a section from and just reference the section from the Wetlands Protection Act regulations that we're using for this, just for reference. The section that allows this is 10.535. That's the section that talks about agricultural production. And then specifically subsection E of that talks about how much square footage of bordering vegetated wetlands that can be converted for the use for agricultural ponds. And just to avoid you having to turn to those pages, section section, section 5 sort of requires, consultation with the USDA, and then stipulates in subsection E that that 20,000 square feet of bordering vegetated wetlands, so almost a half an acre, can be converted from bordering vegetated wetland to a water, for the purposes of it to create an irrigation pond. So Steve has been in contact with the USDA. I think we submitted plans to you that were initially done and provided in consultation with the USDA. We have further updated those based on the actual wetlands delineation that we performed on the site. We had to tweak things a little bit to make sure that we stayed underneath the 20,000 square foot threshold. And we're only altering that much, bordering vegetated wetland. So, turning to the plan, if you were to take Goodrich Street and come down past that existing house on the corner and past the new driveway, you'd get down to an area where we're proposing to work. See if I can zoom this in as much as possible. The hatched area that you see, sort of the gray shading here area on the plan, is the limits of the bordering vegetated wetland as they've been delineated by our office. So we have a line here that runs roughly parallel to I'm not tracing very well, but parallel to the roadway. And then this wetland line actually was previously delineated when we did the road project a year or so ago. The dark circular-ish lines that you see here down in this portion of the site would be the limits of the proposed pond on the property. Earlier iterations of and the property line, just for reference, is right here. So this is the abutting property, Mrs. Whitney, who I believe is also on the call. So just for reference, earlier iterations of this had this pond actually slightly larger, down coming closer up to the edge of this where the property line is. We pulled that back in part to give some buffer, but also just because we had to honor the 20,000 square foot alteration, and that was seemed to us to be the most appropriate way to do it. So essentially, what we're proposing to do, and this was actually laid out by this concept was laid out by the USDA for us. We just kind of tweak things from a location standpoint, but we're essentially proposing to build. Let me get a different pen here. This section right here would actually be a berm. So we'd be filling a portion of the wetland right in this location, right here. So this would actually be a fill up to a berm that's right here. And then we would be excavating down into the wetland area to create that pond and the volume below the water table. And that's important because most of the work that we're proposing in this portion here, all of this excavation where all the major earthwork needs to occur in the volume, is going to be completely isolated and self-contained. So we're not going to have a situation where we have an unconsolidated excavation here that would have the opportunity to push down gradient. We're going to be excavating this, and all of this area will be lower than the existing wetland system as it flows to the north off the property. So that's really important from a erosion and sedimentation control standpoint. From a dewatering construction standpoint, so I guess I'm trying to decide which thing to talk about first. From a hydrology standpoint, this pond will utilize existing groundwater that's already there. So essentially, we're just opening up a water surface and volume below the water table. So when the pond is completed, there'll be a water surface in that pond that matches the existing water table in the area already. So essentially, the surrounding hills will filter into that pond area. It does that today. You just don't see it because there's no volume. It's not excavated out. It filters into that wetland area though, and the groundwater table is fairly close to the surface. At the end of the day, that surface will match existing water tables before it flows off the property. So really all we're doing is we're accessing the amount of water that's in the soil already and opening up this irrigation pond so that we can utilize that volume of water for the irrigation of the fields. Because we're excavating a pond in the water table, there is of course going to be a need to dewater as we're excavating. So we have provided some dewatering specifications. We're actually going to be I'm going to switch plans here, so bear with me. I apologize. I'm trying to be as slow and methodical as possible. This plan here is an overview of the entire area. The pond area that we're talking about would be excavated right in this location. I'm going to switch. This is the limit of the property right here, and actually the agricultural property line comes all the way back up in here. This is all Steve's, Mr. Violet's land right here, including this. We're actually proposing to run the dewatering line straight uphill and along the edge of the field all the way over to this point here where there's an existing, there's a good place for it. We can fairly easily, using the existing topography, create a sedimentation area there and create a situation where it's not going to bother anybody, and we'll have plenty of space, basically utilizing the existing topography in that area to provide the sedimentation of the dewatering flow that will be generated during construction. And that area is completely outside of the buffer zones and resource areas, but I know your commission was going to be interested in it. So we wanted to make sure we showed a plan to you for that. The only other thing that I wanted to point out is that we are proposing to build an access road. This access road will not only be used during construction to excavate out to do the excavation and remove the fill excavated soil material, but it will also be permanently left in place to provide access to the pond. So for the purposes of pumping and producing the water that's required for irrigating the fields. I think that's where I wanted to leave it for now. I'm sure you'll have some questions. As I said, we are we are waiting for a DEP file number for this one, so we won't be able to close it. But we are hopeful to keep the ball advancing here. So certainly happy to take any questions or comments that the commission may have, or any questions or comments from the abutters.
Thank you, Greg. So this is a new one on me. I've not had one like this come before me as commissioner since I've been here. Does this parcel need to be in farm use for this exempted activity to happen?
I think it has to be.
I know the abutting property is in farm use, but I didn't know that this one was, and so that's why I was asking.
So I guess I'm not quite sure on that, or even on the status of that. All I can tell you, Mary, is that the first initial phone call that was made here was to the USDA, which is sort of the first step for when we do these kind of things. And they provided the, the schematics and plans and plan for this. So I don't want to speak out of turn. I think I'll probably confer with my client on that and get back to you in a couple weeks. But I would imagine, I'm saying this for the record because I would imagine that USDA would have said if we needed to do something else before we went and put this process in place. But I'll certainly circle back on that.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then with regard to putting in the new driveway, I don't see erosion controls put in place for that.
So
Like that would be merited.
yeah, I don't actually think so in this case, Mary, and here's why. We are proposing an erosion control barrier right along the property line. Actually,
Mhm.
we're going to move that up. We're going to move that right at the toe of the slope. That was a carryover from when we had the pond further downhill. So, but either way, you can see from the contours, the flow of water is this way, like this.
Mhm.
So when we build this, and then again, this, I'm really having a hard time here with my colors, but this whole area is berm. And then this
Right.
area, of course, is low. So all of this construction will flow this way into the pond, and it will not have any opportunity to pass over this berm and then down. So I think that the erosion control that we have in this case adequately protects us.
Okay, and I see your point with regard to the, direct down, but the rest of the BVW that's not actually going to be part of the pond. I mean, I think we still have an obligation to protect that as well,
That's all.
right?
That's all up. It's all upgrading it. That's all. This is all higher in elevation.
But not higher in elevation from the driveway. I mean, it looks like the area of
Okay.
construction
Yeah.
for
No.
the driveway also.
I recant. You're correct, Mary. I think you're right. We owe you some erosion control here.
Okay. Okay.
You're absolutely right about that.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting project, but I mean, certainly in these days where we have, class 1, class 2, and even sometimes class 3 droughts very routinely, you can understand why, one of our, farmers is going to need to have some irrigation to keep his crops going. And certainly all of us in the community and the surrounding communities fed as well, right? So it's not just benefiting Mr. Violet, but all of his clientele as well. So I can certainly understand that. What's the depth of this projected to be?
We are looking at about 15 feet.
Okay. And is it just going to have a natural soil bottom, or is there anything that's good? Yeah. Okay.
Just natural. Yep. We again, it's a pond that's that needs groundwater infiltrate that will be a groundwater infiltrate fed by groundwater, right?
Mhm.
So there's no liner or anything like that would be put in. We would just be no special treatment to the bottom of
Okay.
the pond.
I was looking back through the historical imagery, and it looks like some portion of that, the portion of it closest to the driveway, has historically been some type of either natural or man-made kind of pond that maybe just has filled in over time, or maybe dried up. I recalled when at least I thought I recalled when we permitted that driveway that's on the toward the bottom of your drawing as it's oriented now, that there was some standing water over there, but it's been pretty dry since then.
We don't think there's going to be an issue with the volume of water.
Yeah.
That there is, you can see it on this plan here, but there's an existing pond here that I think was a similar. I think I'm not exactly sure the history of that, but I would imagine that was probably dug in a similar manner way back when. But we may get a history lesson on that. So we think that there's plenty of hydrology here. And again, these ponds, they intercept the groundwater table, but they don't alter it, right? So The important thing is that when we're done, that the hydrology of the wetland downgrading of the pond will remain the same. So we're not you know, we're not looking to do anything that will you know, negatively impact things as we go downstream.
Okay. Are there other questions, comments by members of the commission? I am not seeing. Okay, Rich.
Yeah, just quick, Greg, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. There are other ponds in close proximity to this proposed pond, and you've gone through and through hydrology, made sure that this won't affect. You know, there's one pond there on Miss Whitney's property, and there's another one right across the street on Stillman's. And opening this fissure here up's not going to affect the levels or the ability of those two ponds.
Yeah,
to continue?
so no, that's good. So this one actually is lower in elevation than even the bottom of the excavation that we're proposing. So this pond here is roughly, you can see right here, it's roughly 365 at the around the rim, and that's the elevation of the deepest portion of the pond we're proposing. So you know, we're actually above it hydraulically, if you will. You know, you could that hydraulic gradient, if you work backwards, actually, you know, all of the excavation we're doing is vertically above that. It's kind of hard to explain. I haven't really looked at the Stillman's pond. But I suspect, I think that that Lancaster Ave, I think that we have a saddle condition there, Rich. So I think that flows off in the other direction. So I think that there's I'd have to get back to you on that, but I think that, you know, more or less Lancaster Ave formulates a watershed, you know, hydraulic divide, and that that pond is being charged. I think that would be fairly isolated from this one in terms of a groundwater table issue. But I'd have to get back to you a little bit on that.
Okay, yeah, it does on the USGS. They do show it flowing the other way south.
I think
They show an outflow.
Yeah, down the other direction of Goodrich, I think, correct?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and then it goes, I don't know where it goes, but it probably goes around the bottom of Stillman's and flows down to, I would imagine.
One would think maybe towards, well, eventually towards Lake Shirley, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it goes, I would think it goes down the bottom of the Stillman's if you were to kind of go where the barns are and go down over the hill. I think it flows that way, and then there's some more ponds down gradient to that, I think. So I think it flows that way.
And how much water do you think you'll be able to take out of this pond daily? Have you done any studies for that?
I think I don't want to speak out of turn. USDA laid out all that stuff for Steve. So I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm sure I could find it, but we can provide you with some more information on that.
Okay. And back to Mary's question on the use of the property. When we went for the driveway, it was described as a driveway for a future residence. And I assumed it was on this piece of property that they were going to put a future residence. So aren't those two in conflict, agricultural use and a residence?
Well, we didn't close the door on the residence. So what we said, the driveway was built and was proposed and was built primarily today for access for the farming uses. And that's because you take your life in your hands going out the existing Steve's existing entrance directly onto Lancaster Ave. If you can imagine where that is, it's a little hairy. But we want it to be very clear that that lot does conform dimensionally to the requirements to be considered a residential housing lot. And if in the future that was intended to be done, that driveway would function as, the driveway that was proposed would function as the residential driveway to the house. But at this time, he is not, there's no proposal that I know of to put a house on this property.
Okay. And do you have to change the use or designate the use of the property for agricultural purposes in order to get the exemption under the 310 CMR for the construction of the irrigation pond in the BVW?
I'm not sure on that one, Rich. That's what to Mary's question. That's the same answer that I gave to Mary. I will get back to you on that.
Okay. Oh, that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Do we have questions or comments from other members of the commission? And not seeing any, I will now open the dialogue to members of the public. And for members of the public that wish to add comments, raise your hand. I will call on you. And if you would, please state your name and your address. And I'll call on Miss Patricia Whitney.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. I have a pond on my property, and it's in what is now designated as a certified wildlife refuge. And I'm very concerned with the pond going in, particularly because it's so low. I'm wondering if it's going to drain off my pond, which has been there for over 40 years. And I'm really concerned about that. I don't want to lose it.
Miss Patricia, if I could ask for the consultant, Greg, to address that concern of yours. Greg, if you would.
Say again, I'm sorry. I couldn't quite.
I'm going to ask Greg Roy, who's a professional engineer, to address that. I think he's done some analysis around your concern.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's an excellent question and concern. And I think whenever we do things like this, really whenever we do any kind of stormwater or anything that relates to water, we're always concerned with upgrading issues, which isn't you, but also downgrading issues. So whenever we're proposing something that modify or has the potential to modify stormwater flow, surface water flow, groundwater flow, anything like that, it's our job to propose a solution that at the property boundaries doesn't change things, right? So this is one of those situations where we're proposing a pond here, which is a groundwater fed pond. It is upgrading it to your pond, but we believe that there are, based on what we know and understand of the groundwater characteristics in the area, we believe that there is enough tributary area, aquifer, if you will, that's feeding both your pond, but also the upgrading areas to this pond to provide both with sufficient volume, and that the construction of the pond on Mr. Violette's property will not adversely impact yours. Perhaps we can provide a little bit more graphics that describes that a little bit better at the next meeting, but effectively we are upgrading of it, and we always want to be careful that we're not going to take water out of here that will negatively impact downstream effects. But we believe, based on the hydraulic characteristics that we observe in this area, that will not be the case. And it's one of the reasons, Mrs. Whitby, why we actually pulled the pond a little bit further away from your lot line to provide a little bit more buffer there. One is just so that we're not working right up against your lot line, but also so that we have even more length of flow of undisturbed groundwater flow in that situation. So that is your concern was a concern that we had at the very beginning of this when we first started to lay it out. So, but I do appreciate it.
Well, my pond is being fed by 3 streams coming through. They're underground, but there are 3
Right.
springs coming into my pond. And I mean, I cleared a path for the wildlife to be able to come to my pond and be able to use it. And I just don't want to, I want to be sure that there will be no disturbance of my pond. Can you assure me of that?
Yeah, I mean, we're not proposing any change to wildlife passage or really the biggest concern that I could think of, and I can understand your concern, would be relative to excavating a pond and pumping out of it, changing the hydraulic characteristics of your pond. And all I can say is groundwater hydrology is not an exact science. We don't have X-ray vision, but I can tell you that that was an early input into our design process. It's always a concern with my office and people like me, and it's always a concern with the USDA. And they were an early participant in this process. So we've laid things out so that we would not adversely harm the hydraulic characteristics of your pond, and certainly not any modifications or anything of wildlife passage and the like. If anything, we think we'd enhance it because we're providing another pond surface in the area, so we'd have more opportunity for waterfowl and this kind of thing. So just different types of a more diverse habitat population than you'd have with just having a bordering vegetated wetland in the area. So
Thank
I
you,
hope
Greg.
that helps. Yeah.
Thank you, Greg. Patricia, do you have other comments that you wanted to make at this time?
No, I just wanted to say that the yellow line that you have drawn here, up and over to Steve's top of his field here. I can't point, but anyway, that is my property, and I own up to almost the top of the hill in the back where Steve's farmland is. So, that's my main concern is, if it draws out my pond, what do I do about it? That's the other question.
Yeah, understood.
What would be the recourse if the pond is adversely affected?
It's a good question.
Yep.
Herlin, do you know?
We take
Herlin's-
steps to
Yes.
not have
Yeah.
it be
It would
we
be a
take
civil
steps-
dispute between abutters.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know that really the Concom would have jurisdiction in that
No,
case.
I don't think so.
By the letter of the law, the state statute, I think, and I'm talking a little bit out of turn here, but I think actually the Board of Health, believe it or not, is sort of the board that's designated as the board that deals with these type of issues, stormwater flow and this kind of thing. In practice, it's not really done that way, but my only response to that is that we take steps and precautions during the planning and design of these things so that doesn't happen. But I can understand your concern.
Yes, because once it's done and it does drain out, I'm stuck with a marsh.
No, I understand.
And that's my main concern.
Yeah, I think that's a valid concern. But Greg is a professional engineer that is certified, right? So, and he's done extensive analysis in this regard that's based on science and practice. So there's a lot that goes into that should give us some confidence as well.
Well,
I like to think so, but I can understand how you'd be skeptical, Mrs. Whitney. But that's the best way I can answer the question.
Yeah, because my pond was put in by the same man that did the pond in oh my gosh. I'm losing it here. The Bear Hill Pond in
Oh.
Little
In
Harvard.
Harvard?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the
Very
one.
good.
Yes, Bear Hill Pond in Harvard
Yep.
is the same man that did that pond that did my pond. So it was not just a guy with a plow. It was
Yeah.
by
Well, very clearly, because it's in good shape even with the drought. So,
Yeah.
but
absolutely.
I do have to move along because I do have to
Okay.
get some more topics and hearings this evening. But thank you for your
Yeah.
comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I have a list, Madam Chair, that I've written down, so you don't have to belabor the point.
Thank you very much, Greg.
We'll be back to you in a couple weeks, if you can accommodate us. We would like to keep things moving along, because we do lose windows for these type of construction projects,
Right.
as we get further into the fall. So we'd like to keep things moving here if we can.
And
But
so,
we'll respond to the questions and comments that we heard tonight.
and do you want to be continued to the 19th or to September 2nd or?
We'd like the 19th, Madam Chair.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to continue this hearing to August 19th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Teddy and Mike. So roll call vote, Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Greg. Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A notice of intent by Unitil for the construction of a new substation and replacement of utility poles, 934 Mass Ave. And do we have the applicant and or their representative here with us tonight? Oh, Herlin, you haven't heard from them?
I haven't, but let me just verify that I didn't receive anything. Typically, they do email me very short notice. Just bear with me one moment. Nothing from them. The last email we have is from the 15th, where they asked to be continued to the next available meeting.
Okay, I think we were waiting on some clarifications from them as well, as I recall.
They were trying to put together answers to DEP comments.
Yeah. Okay, so I think let's continue them if the commission so moves to the 19th. And maybe you could contact them and let them know that if they're not able to support the process, that we would have to consider moving this to a vote, which might not be in their favor.
Will do.
Thank you. Do we have a motion by the commission to continue this hearing to August 19th?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I think I heard Rich as a primary mover, Mike as a primary mover, and Teddy as a second. So roll call vote, Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you. Moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A notice of intent by Jonkey Construction LLC for the construction of a single-family home with a wetland crossing at 503 West Townsend Road. And do we have that applicant and or their representative here with us tonight?
Hello, hi.
Hi.
I am the representative. I'm Zach from New England Environmental Design. I'm just trying to get my camera to, well, unfortunately, I emailed myself the plan in a panic so I could share it with you, but it hasn't come through yet. does anybody happen to have the plan possible to share? And I think you said 503. Did you mean 507, right?
507 is accurate.
There we go. Yes. So anyway, it's a single family home lot that we talked about at the last meeting.
Before you get started, though, let's see if somebody has the ability to share this drawing if you do not have that ability. Do we have Erling, are you able to share that or no? Because of the
Madam-
same problem as before.
Madam Chair, the last attachment I have for this is, I'm sorry, wrong account. That's why. Bear with me.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you very
Looks
much.
like
There you go.
Rich is
Sorry.
I
sharing for
apologize
us.
for not having that. But yeah,
Okay, so reorient us with this.
yeah, so we talked about this last time. It's a single family home on a large lot that requires a crossing right at the front by the street over in the front left. Your arrow is right on it right there. So at the last meeting, we spoke about it in general, and I addressed the previous meeting's concerns, and we were left with we wanted a planting list for you guys for what's going along the 30-foot no touch zone. So on this new plan, up a little higher on the plan, I've got a table with a plant list and specs that lists out the size and quantity. I didn't specify what order they may go in along the 30-foot buffer. I found that to be a little irrelevant. I figured the homeowner could maybe do that at their discretion. I've got a selection of shrubs I chose over trees so that they'd remain short in the long term, easier maintenance. And I tried to select ones with wildlife value and ease of maintenance, value to the homeowner, aesthetics, berries or something, you know. So there's that. And then the more important thing we discussed was meeting stream crossing standards. And so I have updated the crossing. We no longer have culverts proposed, and we've got an open bottom box culvert that we actually managed to, we've got it spanned across so that it actually won't be dug into, we won't be disturbing any wetlands per se directly to set the footing that the box culvert will go on. If you see that detail there, we've got it just outside the actual extents of the wetland there, and it meets all criteria for the general standards of the stream crossing. I've got a little table there to the bottom right that sort of lays out the general standards there on the left that are the minimum standards, and then how we have met or exceeded them on the right. So the openness is really, I think, the most important factor, and we have that. It's a little hard to read, but the minimum is, I believe, 0.83 feet, and we ended up with, we've got 0.91, so we are exceeding the openness minimum standard, and we are meeting or exceeding everything else. The substrate of the stream below won't be disturbed the way we are proposing work now. The span over the river, like I said, isn't disturbing the wetland itself, so there will be no wetland filling, should be no need for wetland replication, and the span will allow the bank along the stream, both sides, to remain intact and available for whatever minor wildlife, turtles, amphibians, salamanders, whatever need to traverse that stretch right there. They'll have plenty of natural access.
Excellent.
And I believe that is
So Zach,
Yes.
and Rich is sharing this for us. Right in the center of the screen, my screen, I see a 24-inch HDPE pipe. Where does that go?
Oh, yes. So that is the temporary crossing that will be put in place uh to allow the stream to continue normal flow while this
All this construction's happening.
while the construction's occurring, yeah.
Okay. And do we have, Rich, you were asking earlier about a construction schedule. Do you have a construction schedule here? Has that been brought up before?
Like a construction sequence, yeah, I had
Yeah.
a general one. I believe it was up the page a little bit, right there to the right of the plant spec construction sequence, yeah.
Okay.
And I believe I had that on, I believe I had it on the last iteration.
Okay. Uh, do we have questions or comments from members of the commission? And I don't see any hands being raised. Do we have questions or comments from members of the public? I don't recall. Were there DEP comments on this?
There
Owen?
were,
Or-
I don't have them right in front of me, but as I recall, they I think they were only concerned with the stream crossing. Um, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they were the ones that brought up needing to that our culvert proposal wasn't sufficient, and so we delved
Right.
deeper and now we're meeting the stream standards or exceeding parts of them.
That's correct. Yeah, I did find my tab where we have the DEP comments. Yep.
Madam
Must
Chair,
meet the, yes, Rich.
sorry, but I just can't raise my hand where I was sharing. As far as the
Yeah.
construction schedule, there were a couple comments there about the plantings and the plantings being directed by the homeowner. And I just want to make sure that all of the stabilization and the final plantings are all in place at the time that the span is installed.
Okay.
So I
And
just
yeah,
don't want to
sorry,
see the span installed. We put the driveway in, then we do everything, and then we come back to do the final grading and stabilization and planting at the end of the project. It all needs to be done when you put the span in place.
concurrently, okay.
Yep.
And yeah, I did not mean to imply I don't believe the homeowners will be installing the plantings themselves unless
Okay.
that's allowed, but I just meant that, I want a blueberry bush there and I want the dogwood there and I want that type of thing because I don't think the order of the species much matters.
No, because they're all pretty much the same sized plantings, and they're all deciduous plantings. None of them are tree form, so
Yep.
get them all in place. But yeah, have all of the stabilization and the final plantings all done at the same time as the span is installed.
Okay. And I can revise the construction sequence there to reflect that, or unless you were intending to write that into the order, I'm not sure how you.
We certainly can. Yep.
I think it'd be most expedient to write that into the order because then we
I would
can,
love and appreciate that.
yeah, maybe proceed with issuance of the or at least taking the vote on the proposal. And Rich, would you say again for purposes of us making a motion, if the commission is so inclined, what you would want to be detailed in that order?
all the final plantings and stabilization be done at the time that the span is installed.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I would imagine it would, where it is wetland work, would still need a supervision for 2 growing seasons to ensure that all the plantings are in place at the end of the 2 years.
Oh, on the 30-foot buffer. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
2 growing seasons. Yes. Good call out, Rich.
Yep.
So I am looking, I think if I don't see other, and I don't see other questions or comments, I think I'm looking for a motion to include those 2 specific conditions that Rich detailed.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second,
Teddy. Thank you,
Mike.
Mike. Okay, roll call vote. Rich Birsch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. And have a very nice night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. Notice of intent by the reservoir. Oh no, we've already done that. We will move on. A notice of intent by Benjamin Builders, minor site work for a driveway entrance and raid garden at 91 Round Road, PKA 10 Parmenter Road. Do we have the applicant and their representative here with us tonight?
Madam Chair, Greg Roy with Dillison Roy. I'm representing the applicant. I don't think we have anybody representing the applicant directly tonight. So,
Okay.
may I share my screen?
Yes, please.
All right. Bear with me. All right. How's that?
Very
Good.
good. Yeah.
All right. So I'll be brief here. We opened this meeting, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And at the time did not have any DP file number. But as I was corrected earlier in the meeting, we did get that hot off the press this afternoon. And there were no comments issued by DEP for this one. Just to put you into I didn't present this. Ryan Proctor from my office was here 2 or 3 weeks ago, but he reports that your commission did not have any questions relative to this either at that time. So this one is the last remaining lot that we, as part of a larger project, and we've permitted the lots on either side of this with your commission. You've already issued orders of conditions for, I think, lots 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. For whatever reason, this one was last to get to you. So we had the benefit here of working in all of the comments. I think it's one of the reasons why we didn't have any DEP comments on this one. We worked in all of the previous comments, all of the previous plan tweaks, I should say, and additional information from both your commission, but also the DEP when we prepared this plan. But generally speaking, same treatment as before. We have a stone trench that comes down the edge of the drive, and it all flows into a rain garden area here before it exits the site. There's no work proposed within the 30-foot zone. Just for your reference, the wetland area is across the street down here. The 30-foot zone is right in this area here, which is essentially right down the middle of the pavement. Starts to come out over there. 50 feet is here, like this. So we have a little bit of work in the 50 for the actual driveway, but most of the grading and the rain garden is all upgrading of that. Erosion control barriers are proposed anywhere works proposed in the buffer zone. And I think that's it.
Very good. Thank you, Greg. I don't have any questions. Do other members of the commission have any questions or comments? I'm not seeing any hands raised. Oh, Teddy Doucette, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you. I was just wondering where this is relative to the rest of the lots. Like if I were to zoom out, is this closer to um, like the other homes next to the lake, or is it on the other side where it looks
What
like
would be
there's
the
some sort
Actually,
of
a
mill?
great point, Teddy. That's one of the things I have been asking Ryan to ensure we had uploaded was kind of an overall subdivision
Yeah,
sort of
bear
mapping of
with me
these
here.
things.
I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to open up a plan that'll help you. Hold on one
That
second.
would be great.
Give me probably 60 seconds here. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm not sure that this is the actual latest and greatest plan, but I think it'll communicate what we needed to. Hold on one second. Let me share again. So again, this project is part of a larger project. There's 25 lots, 24 of which, well, actually 23 of which are being proposed currently for construction. This plan right here is what is before the planning board. So in addition to needing orders of conditions on some lots from your commission, we also need a stormwater permit on all of the lots from the planning board. So this plan is before them, but it shows the overall site. And the lot in question here, Teddy, is this one right here.
Greg, has this been, I know technically it's not required, but has it been given to the commission? I've asked for it a couple of times. Has it been uploaded to
Well, I don't
our
know.
OpenGov?
If it hasn't, we certainly can. I apologize if it hasn't and you've asked for it. I didn't know that if that's the case.
It just helps us understand, particularly where these subdivisions don't show up on the tax parcels yet, right? Where we're actually talking about it in context.
I will say it is on the OpenGov. You should be able to search the public documents on the planning board page, but we can certainly upload it to this actual application.
Okay,
application
Herlin actually said that she has received that. So
okay, all right.
So I just haven't caught up with where Herlin was. So
I was going to make some heads roll if we didn't give you something you asked for. So
yeah, no, Herlin intervened on behalf of your staff.
So again, you issued orders for this. These two didn't require it. This one, and you did an RDA 3 weeks ago for that one.
Okay.
So they're all done. It's just if for whatever reason this one didn't get filed with the lot of we probably should have filed it at the same time, but it just didn't happen. So
very good. Teddy, that addresses your question, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. The reason I ask is because I got an email from somebody in town about this going ahead of in front of the planning board or something, and people were concerned about the runoff going towards people's properties, and a lot of the runoff is managed by these rain gardens, which they were unsure about how they were going to be maintained unless there was some sort of HOA that kept them in place. And I do have another question after that, but go ahead, Greg.
So the planning board, as I said, is reviewing. We have to do per the town of Lunenburg stormwater bylaw. We have to get a stormwater permit for every single lot here. So we have done all those filings with the planning board, and they're pending final review essentially. But the very reason why we're at the planning board is to document that we are in compliance with Massachusetts stormwater management policy for stormwater. which includes compliance with all 10 standards of the stormwater policy. I'm not going to bore you with all of those standards, but they require us to document that we're mitigating runoff on site and not increasing off-site runoff. We have to meet recharge standards. We have to have an operation and maintenance plan on every single better management practice BMP that we're proposing. So that would include the rain gardens, the infiltration trenches, anything like that. That's all been provided and is being reviewed. And the legal arrangements for that, for all of that, is being reviewed by the planning board. That is a condition of that process. So.
Okay.
So
And
I understand the concern, but the very reason why the town has the stormwater management bylaw is because of that global concern in town. So just to assure everybody, that's the reason why those are required. And this project is not exempt.
Okay, thank you, Greg. And I do have a follow-up question, it's only like tangentially related. I've just been looking into like the open space residential design where like contractors will like clump homes together into a smaller space and allocate usually like a large portion of space to being like open space for wildlife or a community area. I was just curious if like when you are doing large projects like that, do you consider that as a possibility, or is it not
Yeah,
really touched upon?
we do. In this case, this is a pretty unique piece of property because there's a lot of frontage, a lot of existing frontage on legally accessible roadways and viable roadways. A lot of times, Teddy, those type of open space developments are really desirable when you're looking at doing an actual subdivision where you're proposing a new road. And you can cluster those around a new road that's required to generate the frontage for those new lots. In this case, the frontage exists to do that. So you have a pretty rare situation where you have a 25 lot project that is being proposed by approval not required plan, which means you don't have to use the subdivision control process to create the frontage required. So it's a little bit unique. A lot of 25 lot residential housing projects, you would see open space type developments, but in this case, just because of the way the lot is and the existing roads and things, it just didn't work out that way.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Teddy. Any other questions or comments by members of the commission? Seeing hands raised. Berlin, any comments or recommendations that you wanted to make on this project?
None.
So I think I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you, Rich. Roll call vote. Rich Birch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
I for myself. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, everybody.
Very good. Moving along. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 is amended in the Town of Lunenburg Wetlands Protection and Municipal Bylaws. A notice of intent by Carlos Silveira for repair and upgrade of a failed septic system at 15 White Street. And do we have Carlos and or his representative here with us tonight?
Hi, I'm Luke Roddy. I'm the soil evaluator who did the perk test, and my company's going to be doing the septic install. The sanitarian that designed the system wasn't available tonight, so I'm sitting in. I believe Carlos is on the call as well.
Okay, very good. Luke, do you want to get us acquainted on this project. Did you have actions that you had taken from the commission from the previous hearing?
No. Oh, hang on a second. I was gonna try and share but no, the last meeting, we just went over the general outline. It's a replacement septic system at an existing house. Current system has failed and is much closer to the wetlands. This system's basically putting it in the furthest possible spot from the wetlands. There's not a lot of space to work with on the site. The septic tank is going to be about 65 feet from the wetlands. The leach field is 101 feet at the closest point. And there is silt fence shown at about 50 feet from the wetlands. And that would be the limit of work.
Okay, very good.
I believe we do have a DEP number as well, and they didn't have any comments.
Yeah. I thought I saw a comment. The applicant should confirm the parcel number in section 1A of the NOI form.
Okay, I didn't. I'm just going off the information I was given by the sanitarian. He said he didn't think there weren't any comments, so I didn't review it myself. So
Erlyn has her hand raised. She may have a clarification for us.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, the applicant came in and asked about that. I think he hyperimposed the numbers for the map lat parcel area. So I helped him correct it and retrieve the correct numbers, and he sent that over to DEP.
Okay, that's a great answer. Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions from members of the commission? Questions and/or comments? Any questions or comments from members of the public? I'm seeing none. So I think I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
I think that was Mike.
Yep.
All right. And a second?
Second, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Okay, roll call vote. Rich Bursch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
aye for myself. Thank you, Luke.
all right, thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Okay. Moving along to other business. I do not see that we have administrators' determinations, amended orders of conditions, or extension requests. I do see a certificate of compliance for 23 Tilton Ave. Erlyn, do you want to give us an overview of that?
Yes, just bear with me. I'm managing multiple screens on this little tiny
Oh, I don't have to imagine it.
So this was a septic replacement. An order of conditions was issued by the commission, I believe in 2025. I actually did the pre-construction site walk for this in late fall.
Mhm.
And the construction finished. I drove by, took some, I didn't take pictures because I went out on a day that it was raining very bad, and I think my phone might be damaged from that. But
Oh, no.
yeah, it said water was getting in. But anyhow, the disturbed areas appear to be permanently stabilized and no evidence of erosion, sedimentation, or other resource area impacts was observed at the time of the inspection. I would advise the commission to move forward with issuing a full certificate of compliance for this request.
Okay, very good. Any questions or comments from the commission on this? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Mike?
Thank you, Mike.
Second, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Roll call vote. Rich Bursch,
Aye.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Eddie Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
and I for myself. Move along. Okay, moving along to enforcement. All right, do we have any updates on 1168 Mass Ave?
Yes. So we received an email from DEP, which so just a little context for this. We issued an enforcement order to this property and property owner. They called me up and complied, and then within the 5 days that we requested a response by, they have 30 days to comply. I spoke to the engineer, which was McCarty Engineering, and we discussed what the enforcement order required, and they were going to have people out there. I think they're actively having someone work on some delineations. We agreed that the 30-day timeline was good. They were going to try to come, I believe, towards the end of the completion of that to just show us what they were doing. And then we received an email from DEP saying that they were issuing a hearing date for a failure to respond. So I'm not really sure if that's in conjunction with what we ordered, but they're aware that their engineer replied to us. So then I was in contact again with their engineer, who was unsure also what was happening. And I asked them if DP had some requirements from them at their last site walk that they had together. They believed they had complied. I told them, DEP, that's out of our jurisdiction. They're above us. So they're going to attend the meeting, and then he will let me know what happens there. As far as it concerns us, they are fully compliant. They responded to us. They are working on something. They have a wetland scientist out there as we speak. So I think the two things are separate, but I will wait to hear back from what happens at this meeting, and the hearing is scheduled for August 13th at 11 a.m. in Worcester.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from members of the commission? Okay. Thank you, Herlin, for that update. Okay, moving along to next on our agenda is new business updates. Okay, we got an email about Cowdrey Trail overgrowth and the bridge. What's going on with that? Herlin, if you would.
Sure. So we received an email from, I believe her name is Kim, Commissioner Doucette. You know who she is, right? I believe Kim is.
Oh, Kim Duffy?
Yes, from Kim Duffy. Thank you
Yes.
for that. In regards to hiking through Cowdrey and attempted to pass a red trail marked below along Mulpus Brook, starting at the Purple Arrow intersection with Greentail and headed southeast. Neither of us there could identify where the trail went due to significant overgrowth, and eventually just needed to try to head southwest back to Green Trail. We tried to find trail markers on the trees and couldn't find them. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the green section that passes through the brook seems to not have a bridge or any other way to pass other than walking through the water. So I would probably recommend removing the green section from the trail map or rebuilding the paths. I unfortunately have not had a chance to go out there and verify this myself, but I do believe she may be right. I spoke to a prior commissioner, Bob Pease, who came out and said that there is some verbiage, I believe, either in the land use or it's definitely not in our bylaw where clearing can happen by constituents on trails, but I didn't feel comfortable letting this person know that they could just go out there and kind of whack away at things without first discussing it with the commission. I think putting a plan in place might be our best course of action, even if it's recruiting some volunteers to go out there one day and clear the area. Somebody who's more well-versed with what the trails should look like, even if that includes Mr. Pease himself.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the trails down in that area. I'm actually kind of surprised that we're missing markers. We had some Boy Scouts down in that area a couple of years ago. I actually am a little worried somebody's been down there and pulled some markers down. I had actually been down in that area probably a couple of years ago too, right before the Boy Scouts came through, so that I was really clear on what they were doing. I think what I'll do is try to either get down there or get either Bob or Chris St. Germain is also, a very active trail steward, former member of the commission, down there to look at that area and maybe come back with some proposals. And I usually have in the fall, school hasn't started yet, but I usually do have some NHS students also that reach out in the fall looking for volunteer hours. So we may be able to get that covered in that regard. And I really appreciate Kim Duffy reaching out to us and letting us know about this problem so we can get it addressed. And there has been a bridge down in two bridges, right? So there's a big bridge on the southeast side that is really wide, like 10 feet wide, that is part of the snowmobile trail system. And then on the northwest section, there's another bridge that's not part of the snowmobile trail system, but it's a little hinky. But we did have Josie Gilchrist and her husband, and they were down there working on that bridge with gosh, I remember it was a charity event, and it brought in a lot of volunteers, and they led that effort. And that was not this past spring, but the spring before, working on, doing some very heavy duty maintenance on that bridge, replacing not the stringers, but the decking and some railing sections and whatnot. So I might reach out to them as well. So let me take that action, Merlin.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there questions or comments from members of the commission to Herland or to me in general about this? I am not seeing any hands raised. I keep covering up my hand raising panel with my agenda, which is not helpful. All righty. All right, library program on conservation property. Who sponsored that to our agenda?
The library.
Oh, okay.
So I received an email from a librarian stating that the library would like the program would be a mycologist from Boston leading a 2-hour mushroom walk through the property covering the basics of mushroom habits, ID, and ecology, and helping prepare participants for safe, exciting forages of their own. According to the librarian, my goal would be to book it for late morning or afternoon during the week sometime in early October. The professional I would be looking at has led hundreds of walks like this before through other conservation lands in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and would be respectful of the property. The walk is booked for Friday, October 2nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Jonathan Crowns,
yeah.
He's very familiar with the property and leads mushroom walks several times a week at various communities in New England. So they were, running this by us as a courtesy and hoping that they are able to use. I believe she
Did he
said
say which property?
Yes, I believe she said. Is there a Lane property?
There is, yes. It's the one on Holman Street.
Okay.
Has one of the best parking areas.
Her name is Lydia, and it would be most likely the Lane property. Yes. And wanted to check if we needed permission first. And my reply says it's open to the public, so no form of permission is generally required for members of the public to use the trails during normal public access hours. But we would appreciate, her letting us know that something was happening.
Yeah, we do ask for notification for events.
Okay.
And particularly, it's important to know if it's free or if there's some kind of exchange of money that's happening associated with this.
Okay, I can ask.
Yeah, the town policy, I believe, is that if this is something that's commercialized, in that the participants are expected to provide some type of, payment or fee or something to either the organizer or the guide, that the town requires some type of insurance. If I
Yeah,
recall
so
correctly.
typically, programs offered by the public library are at no cost. As an
Yeah,
average
I
library
would
user,
expect that.
I
Yeah,
know that.
I would
And
expect that too. We probably just need to have it confirmed in writing.
right, yeah. I think most likely what happens is this is grant funded. Typically, either the Cultural Council or DCR or anybody within this whose scope is to fund projects for public engagement will issue a grant to the library, and then the library can use the funds to then hire somebody to come in and give a free. But I will
I
get
think
that in
it's
writing.
awesome.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I
Um,
marking that down on my calendar.
I will verify this with her and let her know. And
Okay.
if there's no cost, they are free to use it. As we already know the time and date. So
Yeah, Mike, you have your hand up and you've been waiting patiently.
Yes, Madam Chair. I've been on many mushroom walks, and something that's very important that all the instructors or leaders of those walks always tell us that that you cannot take what they say for face value, whether something is edible or not edible. And I'm hoping that this instructor will do the same, because if someone were to pick a mushroom that looks like it could be edible and it is not, I don't want to be liable, or the town liable, for an incident. You know what I'm saying? So, you can certainly identify mushrooms, but you certainly don't want to encourage someone to gather a mushroom that may or may not be edible on our property in case it's not, and someone gets harmed. So that's my only concern in allowing others to use our town property for a great event, as long as they realize don't the edibility of mushrooms should not be part of that class or that walk. That's all.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, I share your concerns. Mushrooms are really complex, and there are a lot of them out there with some deadly lookalikes.
You know what they say? There are some old mushroom gatherers and bold mushroom gatherers, but there are no old, bold mushroom gatherers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. I think that, actually, I think I'm just going to ask for a motion to approve this event.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Teddy. Roll call vote. Rich Bursch.
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
Andrea Burnett.
Aye.
And aye for myself. Thank you. Moving along. Keep having my window wrong size for the bottom of the page. Okay, commission open discussion topics. One thing that okay, we have old business over here. Is there anything that's been unknown for the last 48 hours that needs to be brought up that's not on the agenda? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands raised. Oh yeah, Rich Bursch.
Yeah, actually, it was back to the last discussion. Herlin, did you mention that you did not have a copy of the land use policy?
I didn't, and I just received yours. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, and it is on the town website too, under conservation land information,
Thank you. I
if
appreciate
the
that.
public is looking for it. Super. Thank you, Madam Chair. That was the only comment.
Thank you. Okay, bylaw discussion, draft changes for the fee schedule, Herlin?
Hi, yes. So this is another, I'm not sure if we want to discuss this tonight. So during our last meeting, there were a few commissioners that weren't present. I had mentioned that I had been in discussion with our town council in regards to our fee schedule, and it is in the town charter in verbiage, and then a schedule is in place. And he said what he's done in the past for other departments, I believe we're the last department who has not yet done this, is he has taken out that verbiage at town meeting and the schedule, and then sort of reference the right to each board or commission as a whole. So basically, we would be asking the select board to allow the Conservation Commission to adopt a fee schedule that will be maintained by the commission. During our last meeting, some commissioners were not present, and I thought it would be a better idea to have everyone present before the commission took a vote on this, as to move it forward to council so that we can put a bylaw change request
Mhm.
for our next town meeting. But
What's the deadline for being able to raise a warrant for, are we gonna have a special town meeting in the fall?
we
November?
but we are asked not to bring these certain things up.
Okay, so then it would
Um,
have to be in the May town meeting.
Yes. I am asking if we could, just for like general sequence of things, if we can do something in November and then
Okay.
implement it come January, that would be perfect. The town manager did agree. So I have until mid-September to have a vote from the commission to then have town council help me put together the package that I need to present for the warrant.
Okay. And I think our chair, our formal chair is actually out again at the next meeting. But at the very least, I think now everybody has visibility to the proposal. Do anybody that's here tonight have any questions or concerns that they wanted to raise about this? I happen to think it's a great idea. Okay, and I'm not seeing hands raised either on this. So okay. I think it's a great idea and well overdue. So I'm glad you're here and helping us drive forward on that, Harlan.
Yeah.
Okay, old business conservation budget. Eagle Scouts project, and I understand last meeting this got brought up. So we have an Eagle Scout that's working on some ADA compliant kind of, say it out loud, accessibility types of improvements for the small town forest. He wants to put in, and per his proposal, he wants to build and put in a couple of ADA picnic tables. So they have one end of the picnic table has actually got a long overhang so that people with wheelchairs and scooters can more easily enjoy a picnic with their families. I had told him that we do sometimes sponsor funding for this, and we have recently sponsored funding for Eagle Scouts for kiosk projects and whatnot. Bob Pease went and got the materials priced at Mackey Lumber, and I think the actual cost was $548. But so I would propose that we consider funding this for a not to exceed $600 amount for this Eagle Scout to finish, to to get that material and then build those picnic tables. Any questions or comments about that proposal? It would be funded, I would propose that that be funded out of our timber rights fund. Yes, Herlin.
I just wanted to note that during our last meeting, we discussed the fact that when Eagle Scouts were to present projects, they were also responsible for funding their project. And apparently the rules have changed. Now, they are the, I can't think of the word because it's very late, but the recipient of the project is now responsible for funding it. It is no longer the responsibility of the scout.
Oh, that's interesting. So my history with the Eagle Scouts coming to the Conservation Commission is that it's been sort of happened both ways. Sometimes we funded it, sometimes they've found independent funding and donations. So it's interesting to know that it's actually an Eagle Scout policy that's been driving that.
Yes, I was kind of shocked at that too. I thought it was always the responsibility of the Eagle Scout. But we had someone in the office when Mr. Peace came through with the quote, and he informed us that it is now the responsibility of the recipient who is receiving whatever work is being done to actually fund or provide the materials needed.
In a lot of ways, that makes sense given the cost of materials these days.
Right.
I think the last bridge project that I had to just find the funding for the screws and timber locks and whatnot. Connective hardware was $600 alone. That was no wood. That was just the timber locks and deck screws. Okay, so if there are no questions or comments, I'm looking for a proposal or for a motion to approve not to exceed $600 from the timber rights on our Mackey PO for this Eagle Scout project.
So moved.
Second, Mike.
Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Mike. Roll call vote. Rich Bursch.
Aye.
Mike LaRouche.
Aye.
Teddy Doucette.
Aye.
Andrea Burnett.
Aye.
And I for myself. Okay, as a matter of mechanics though, Herlin, I think you had said that the PO was we needed to raise a new PO to fund this.
Yes, and that, yeah,
ahead.
that's being worked out. There has been some reorganization in the Ritter building, and I have somebody who is designated like AP work, so accounts payable, and she will be facilitating all of this. So
okay,
we can disregard the frantic little bit of panic attack I had there.
Okay, and so then the existing PO and the amount there that was left on that will be closed out.
Yes.
Those funds will be returned back to the timber rights fund as unused.
Yes.
Okay, and do we have any idea how long it might take her to turn around a PO?
It's fairly quick. It's
Okay.
not. So we are an anomaly as to where these accounts are funded by conservation. So we don't really have an overhead when it comes to the approval of how the funds are used. So it's pretty quick.
Okay, because I know this Eagle Scout is interested in getting this completed before school starts.
Yes. Yep. And I will facilitate expediting this.
Okay, that would be awesome. The next item is ledger advertisement. So the Lunenburg Ledger reached out to all of the town departments and had said they were trying to kind of see if there would be any appetite for a townwide mailing, and if so, you know, which departments would be interested in it. I reached back out to the Ledger and asked, you know, like, okay, what would it cost? And Pam gave me a cost. So I had asked about a quarter page ad. Again, you know, I think honestly, I think we've been delinquent in trying to keep visible the protected areas for town that require wetlands permits. And so I would like to see, us do more. And this is only one opportunity, but us do more to keep visibility to these regulations and the wetlands that our regulations protect in the eye of the public. We do have a number of people that come before us that just simply didn't know. And I know we're not going to eliminate that, but I do want to make it better. It was $125 for a quarter page ad, and roughly double. We can estimate that it would double that for a half page ad. What we have talked about in the past is that little pen drawing that we have on our website that is a diagram of the buffer zones and what activities actually require a permit, Concom permit. I almost think a quarter page would be too small for somebody to actually make sense of the pen line drawing. So might want to consider something broader. Right now, I'm just socializing this because when I was went back to Pam and asked, hey, listen, you haven't given me a cost estimate. I would like to get that so I can get it in front of our commission. She came back and said that she's had very little response back from the town. So she's not really certain that she can pull off a town-wide mailing. The costs and the overhead for her is pretty expensive. So that I don't think we need to vote on this tonight, but I did want to socialize it as an opportunity and have you guys think about it, comment on it if you want to. It might be more effective for us to put something, at one point in time we talked about getting that diagram added as a as a flyer in once a year in like the tax mailings or something, the quarterly tax mailings, which then at least we know it goes to everybody that's a property owner. Thoughts, comments, concerns? Did anybody else think that we could do a better job in keeping these regulations visible in the public eye? Is there an opportunity for improvement there? Berlin.
Yes. So in the previous municipality that I worked for, we actually, the different type of municipality, of course, but there was a new homeowners this folder that was given to people who were newcomers to the city, and inside there had do you live near wetlands? Do you want to fix your house up? If you have wetlands, this is what's jurisdictional to us. Here's the contact number for the agent. Need someone, want to take a tree down? Call me. Want to expand your deck? Give me a call. So it was very informal, but yeah, beneficial.
I think that's a great idea.
It was awesome, and it went on to be a page on the city webpage. So if you went to the city webpage, it had a little tab that says, "Are you a homeowner?" And then it had local restaurants, local pharmacies, and then it had municipal agencies that can help you. And I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll have to talk about that some more.
I think aside from having the trifold, that might not be so eye-catching to someone. I think I could probably put something together, verbiage-wise, do you own a home near a wetland? Do you know what a wetland is? Do you have questions? Having people contact us as a point of reference is, I think, even more important than having them see the trifold. I do get a lot of inquiries and calls and messages now that I think people know that there's someone in the office, but a lot of people buy property and have no idea that there's wetlands surrounding them. And
exactly,
that it doesn't have to be a lake, a river, a tributary, or a brook. There's isolated wetlands, and there's vegetation that's indicative of wetlands that you may not know you have. We get a lot of people with violations who come forth and say, I have no idea this was a wetland. So I think getting to them first and then explaining the trifold might be a good idea. So I'm not sure if this is something that the ledger will move forward, if we could do something where we can say, hey, we're here, call us if you have questions, and then offer the trifold.
The ledger will do, I think, be willing to do whatever we pay them, to do, and doing something like that could certainly fit into a quarter page ad kind of perspective. Rich, you had your hand up. I didn't call on you fast enough.
No,
Put it
I was
down.
just gonna say that as another idea too, we had put it in the tax bills, the trifold. So it went out to all property owners in Lunenburg.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And honestly, I don't think we actually have to maybe do one or the other or something. I mean, we could do a hybrid approach. Anything we do at this point would be better than our track record over the past, 4 years that I know of for certain that I've been on the commission.
Yep.
I do like the idea of the kind of the, 3 to 5 kind of leading questions. Call us and ask, right? And when they call and engage, then give them the trifold with an actual human narrative. I think that's an excellent idea. I am worried that we only have one Herlin and we might overtax those resources.
I am an excellent multitasker.
Thank goodness. Okay. Moving along. Hollis residents, any updates there, Mike? Or anyone?
Yes, I just wanted to say that back in May the 6th, we had approved roofing materials for the shed on Hollis Road to be re-roofed by Pollinator Habitat volunteers, and I had calculated exactly that we needed 100 square feet, not realizing that you double up on the first course of a roof. So it ended up we were 6 shingles shy of completing our roof. So I just wanted to see if we could approve the purchase of an additional bundle of shingles. I realize we're probably going to have a little extra, but you can't purchase 6 shingles from a lumber yard. So
what do they cost?
I have no idea. They're probably $60 for a bundle, $60 to $75. Yeah, I looked at my notes for May 6th, and all I have is that we approved it and we were applying it to the Haas account on Hollis Road, and they were purchased and delivered. So I'm assuming perhaps the invoice came into Herlin. Maybe she may have an idea of what that Mackey invoice may have been. But that was 3 bundles with some roofing nails, and the rest
Do
of
you
them
need roofing nails too, or just the bundle of architectural shingles?
just the bundle. We have more than enough roofing nails. Probably even enough to do the other side of the roof that we had not planned on doing this time around. So I would like to see if the commission will approve the additional cost of 1 more bundle of roofing shingles to finish the shed.
Okay. Yeah, I just found online that Mackey generally sells shingles for $35 to $45 a bundle.
Okay.
So why don't we make it a proposal not to exceed $100 out of the Haas fund?
Okay. Sounds
or
good.
1 bundle of the architectural shingles. I'm looking for a motion to approve that proposal.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second, Teddy.
Mike and Teddy, roll call vote. Rich Bursch,
Right.
Mike LaRouche,
Aye.
Teddy Doucette,
Aye.
Andrea Burnett,
Aye.
An aye for myself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think we've had, did you get a chance to go to Hollis Road and inspect the cleaning that was done? And I think last Saturday we had Andrea and Teddy come by just to see about the carpeting that was cleaned. For me, it looked like, there was still a telltale odor of a pet did live there at some point. So I just went ahead and we'll schedule two local carpet people just to give us a number of what it would cost to replace those carpets. Not to say we're not bound by any of it. We just want to get a number out there so we have an idea that if we wanted to do that, we would have a number that was current and go from there. So I just
Okay.
let people know that that was part of the plan that I have.
Questions. Teddy Doucette?
Not a question, but I went and inspected it as well, and you can definitely tell there are pets there, but as someone who has hopped around apartments before, for a competitive rate, I would jump on the opportunity to live there. Not me personally at this point in my life, but in the past, like I definitely would have taken that up and done the work for it. So I think we could definitely find a custodian willing to do it, depending on the rate. But yeah.
Well, that'd be really cool if we could find somebody. I had also mentioned there are ozone treatments that you can do, and I know we've purchased like the DIY ones for like cars that the rodents get into and martyr themselves in, and they seem pretty effective. And I know that there are services that'll do that. That also might be a lower cost way of dealing with this problem. Erlen, you have your hand up?
I did. I just wanted to mention that I did send an email to the town manager in regards to setting up a meeting with her. I think there were some discrepancies after the email we received from our facilities director with all the things that needed to be updated at the
Mhm.
property. And I think she was a little hesitant with having the commission move forward and renting or leasing or having somebody occupy the property. So I thought it would be in the best interest for everyone to kind of sit down with her and say, this is how we are going to move forward. And this is how we're going to do it and where the funds are coming from, and show her that. I think there's a little bit of lag in what the commission brings in from the house and what can be done to update it. And then my plan is to have this done sometime next week. So I was hoping that if anybody is available, I reached out to her in the beginning of the week, and I reached out to her today again, late afternoon, asking for some availability. So if anybody's available that has a little bit more context, and
I think
don't,
we ought to have that. I think that's a good thing to do, honestly. So I think that's an excellent suggestion, Herlin. I think we ought to try to plan it around Jenny's availability, since she's the chair now, and I think she's here next week, and then maybe gone a bit the following week. So I think we definitely want to get her availability looped into our planning.
yeah, my only reasoning for kind of rushing this is that we have town council has like open hours August
Mhm.
18th. So I would
Got
like
it.
to kind of schedule this so then I can kind of press him that day and
Mhm.
give him like, hey, can we get this with a turnaround of like, 48 to 72 hours max? That way
Sure.
we can move forward, because I think it's been delayed long enough, and we should really try to get this moving. And I'm afraid with the special town
Winter is
meeting.
coming.
special town meeting, they're already talking about budgets again. We're going to go back into that vortex of nothing can be handled because we're so hyper focused on these other issues.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, and winter is coming, right? And we got to think about how do we, if we're going to protect that asset, how do we protect that asset?
Yes.
Okay, I understand it. Yeah, let's see when Jenny's available, and if you know, I need to bridge the gap there, you know, I can look into bridging the gap there.
Madam Chair,
Anybody? Yes, Mike.
I just wanted to say that I'm available whenever you do, or the commission
Okay.
decides to have that meeting. I will try to make myself available as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that support, Mike.
Okay.
You do have a lot of that history. Awesome. Okay. Going back to our agenda because it is getting late in the evening. Committee reports. Do we have any updates on the master plan steering committee?
No new update.
Okay, very good. Open space?
We haven't met.
Okay, very good. And Jenny is our stormwater contact, and she's not here tonight. So then any final communications or comment from the commission? Do we have any other members of the public on? I think we do. Okay, very good then. I think I am looking for the time is 9:53. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So
moved.
Second.
Everybody spoke at once. Wow. So I'm going to take the original motion from Rich and the second from Teddy. Roll call vote. Rich Birsch.
Aye.
Mike LaRoche.
Aye.
Teddy.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
And I for myself. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, Mike.